taken practicing to a whole new level?
We have. We've practiced very well during the Marsh Cup. The players have practiced and haven't gone overboard by any stretch of the imagination. There was a bit of a snore fest today. We got through it, and then three-quarter time they said, right, we better have a bit of a crack because we've got to start again. And Hutto, the poor bugger's calling it, he said, could you notice the intensity of the last quarter, how starkly different it was to the first three? So you get out of it what you need to get out of it. The Gold Coast, is, they're purring, and Melbourne, St Kilda, Freo, they're happy. The clubs that have been around for a while, they'll just do what they do.
Did you watch the last quarter of West Coast Fremantle? Talking about a game that was just going up and down.
It cranked up, didn't it?
And then the last 35 minutes, the last 30 minutes, it was like, look at this contest. And that's where Freo...
Well, I think
Freo fans should be delighted with what they saw.
I think the sides want to finish the pre-season with some intensity, feeling good about themselves. Individuals want to feel good about themselves. So I think that's why we saw it crank up in the last quarter of that game and the Geelong-Essendon game today, because I know, you might be an experienced team and you're just happy to go through the motions, a little bit of pre-season, but I don't think it's ideal when you have a lacklustre 7 or 8 quarters in your pre-season. You want to have a personal level of confidence going into that round 1 game when the intensity is going to be through the roof, that you can still cut the mustard.
Are they still worthwhile? If the AFL announced next year, Gaz, we're cancelling pre-season games, we're going into round 1, organise a couple of practice matches, match simulation, I think Collingwood and Geelong did that, Bucks and... Is that worthwhile?
It's crossed my mind, Robbo, and I haven't been an advocate for that. You're not playing for anything. You're not playing for anything apart from a spot on the side, and then you don't know what the message is from the coach to the players anyway. So, I know, I watched it all, we did it, we do it because Fox do such a magnificent job and the service to the... But it was hard work. But that's right, that's us whinging about it. But you're as an observer, you two watched it on the telly, you're getting the same sense.
No, one aspect I think is important, and probably our country boy coming out and see you guys, taking it out to the regions.
Yeah.
The only reason that is a massive positive.
Yeah. And it looked terrific at Colac.
It does, 8,000 there, which would have been capacity. So, for a lot of the folk out there, they don't get to see the players up close and personal all year.
All right, let's walk you through it. We've put grandiose titles on these, but you can interpret...
That's what you do, better than anyone.
We've gone with the biggest winner, but what we're really saying is, they were all right. Who would you like to put into the category of, they were all right?
Tommy put me down for Melbourne just so I could get abused by everyone.
I
didn't say Melbourne.
No, you did. I was up on the couch.
I threw it in at the end.
Melbourne's been a positive.
All I said...
I put up of 12 months on the couch.
All I said...
All we talk about is Melbourne.
All you talk about is Brisbane.
Thank you very much.
I do.
You spotted a jumper in the crowd today and said, have a look at that.
Excellent point.
It's old Victoria territory.
This is what I said about Melbourne. Melbourne at least they did what they said they were going to do. They said they were going to train their backsides off, get to the season super fit. They finished both games running over the top of their opponents, albeit Adelaide, who I don't think are going to have a great season, and Hawthorn that shanked it around a bit. And the other thing is that they were a very good inside team. We know that with no outside run. They identified Tomlinson, they identified Langdon, and for whatever reason, they both got a stack of it sitting on the outside. That's all I said about Melbourne. I didn't have them as the biggest winner, Tommy.
Pumping up the defenders. Finally, the defenders.
No, I didn't.
No, that's...
What did you say about the defenders?
I said they played together for the first time.
Yeah.
For the 5th time.
No one can say if they're any good now. That'll be judged as the season goes on. But individually, Petrarca's a tick. There's no doubt Petrarca's a tick. Bailey Fritsch, I think he's going to have a pretty good season. I don't think he's their option one out in the goal square deep. Who's their other key?
Well, Tom McDonald's the most important.
Yeah.
The reason that Lever and, if they play together, May are so good is because you can then keep even numbers because you've got good defenders, which means your forward half get even numbers. When you're struggling big time, you throw an extra behind the footy to help your undermanned defence. So all of a sudden, Bailey Fritsch is getting 1 on 2. McDonald's getting 2 on 1. So that's the biggest positive for Melbourne. Not the biggest winner, Tom.
You know what I want to see from Melbourne?
Yes,
I want to see them come out in round 1, maybe exercise their demons of that preliminary final 2 years ago. They played West Coast over in Perth. Because their round 1 performance last year against Port Adelaide, the MCG, was embarrassing.
Would you bring up, if you were coach, if you were Goody, would you bring up 2 years ago, or is that too far gone?
No, I think...
it's only a year ago.
I think we can... A year ago. I think you push forward into a new season, no doubt about it. I think on the back of Jack Viney's form, I'd be more confident. I know he's not the captain, but Jack Viney is the heart and soul of that midfield.
Who was your biggest winner? Don't worry about Melbourne. No, I said they're not the biggest winner. Who was yours?
Well, I think Gold Coast, it's positive, isn't it? Because out of the one side that we've probably slammed, and last year they lost the last 18 games in a row, good to see the Gold Coast Suns have a good pre-season.
Mate, you've got here the biggest winners, St Kilda. And now you're talking about Gold Coast.
$1 each way.
I've given the Gold Coast mention. I have said St Kilda. I think the St Kilda and the Suns, St Kilda's 5 ins, the mature age that have come in, as well as a Max King, as well as a Ben Long. And there's a lot of positives happening down in Moorabbin. I commentated the first game down there against Hawthorn. They had a good win against Collingwood on the weekend. I'd expect St Kilda to improve. If they can stay healthy, they should be absolutely a top 8 team.
Brett Ratton's spoken about the cohesion and togetherness. When you bring in 5, 6 new players, do you see that as a bit of an issue, a bit of time to get to know each other's nuances of where they run and how they run and all that sort of stuff? Or?
Yeah, potentially. The guys I like the ins, so Zach Jones and Brad Hill especially, to quicken up their ball movement. I spoke to Brett Ratton about this last week, because at times St Kilda went far too slow last year.
Yeah.
They got the balance wrong, then they tried to go too quick. So I think it'll just fall on the shoulders of a classy player like Brad Hill.
How would you like to lead to Brad Hill, mate?
Your eyes would be like dinner plates.
I was
He's an
listening to you
absolute
and
star.
Rui about this. You went overboard about his kicking. All he's doing is exactly what you're supposed to be able to do.
Good to see the highlights are backing up what I mean. What are you saying and not backing up what you're saying?
Kicking it to a teammate. There's no way.
Hang on, how many players going
you're
at
supposed to be doing?
Mate, all you did today, you've just bashed the Essendon midfielders for running too quick and then not being able to hit a target.
Exactly
It is
right.
a tough skill to do, clearly. Brad Hill is probably the best.
Now, Gary, in the St Kilda game down there where Brad Hill was best of field, you were commentating that
No,
game.
it wasn't. It was him and Nicholas. And I was
Was
sitting
it?
at home watching, thinking...
Oh, because I thought it was
How
you
good
talking
was
about
he?
how good was he that night
Going
delivering the
overboard.
ball.
How good was he, Robbie?
He was very good.
What did he do? First time he came out of the middle and kicked it to the leading forward. That's what you're supposed to be
It
able
was
to do.
BAG, mate. It was BAG by a mile.
Don't interrupt me, mate.
Ben Long was good. Max King, though. Exciting about Max King, but we've got to be careful just to
Now you're being...
temper our expectations.
Now
I
you're
know our
tempering.
man Nick Rewald's got a bit carried away about him, maybe because he's wearing his old number. But it's exciting, isn't it? It's exciting for him to come along.
I wish he had
Tim
kicked 8 at it, Brad.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, yeah.
It really
that
would
would have been fantastic.
All right, so the biggest loser, which you should interpret it as, I'm just vaguely concerned by, and you are in accord.
No,
You're both
pick
vaguely
fights.
concerned about Adelaide.
Yeah, big fights.
Well, Brownie doesn't know what he's saying. He's gone off tap already. Adelaide they haven't impressed me all that much. But that's OK. There's been teams in the pre-season which haven't impressed and gone on. But I would imagine it's going to be a challenge for them. They've turned over an enormous amount of personnel. New coach, all those things take some time. Their forward line is going to rely on probably Fogarty as their key now.
Yeah, it's his time now.
So, and he's not going to...
Needs to be ably supported
Charge
by Taylor Walker, though.
Well, he's playing the ruck.
Yeah, I don't
Playing on the wing or in the ruck,
I don't
they
think
told me.
Walker will be playing in the ruck if you're that happy to play in
Most
the ruck.
teams have a weapon or weapons.
Yeah.
What is Adelaide's, what you've seen their standout weapon?
Brodie Smith going into the midfield. He was fantastic on Friday against the Gold Coast Suns. So you'll see their biggest problem has been their lack of leg speed in the middle. So when the ball gets on the spread, they really struggled. So Brodie Smith will play inside there. The biggest plus is Fraser Mackesy, who is their first round pick. Very rarely we see a key position player come in his first year and have an impact.
Jonathan,
And
how much pressure you want to put on these kids?
Well,
See, there you got King and
I
Mackesy
think-
as the best 2 players in the comp.
I think he can have an impact in his first year.
I hope
Gaz.
you're
Now,
right.
don't get carried away.
I like him as well.
You like him, do you?
I do.
So what happens? What happens if Adelaide play to what we're thinking, what you guys are thinking, and it comes down to, is it Mackesy or is it Tex Walker? Is these the kind of decisions that Matthew Nick's the new coach, as he's going through a rebuilding phase, he's going to have to start playing a lot of some of these kids.
Well, he will start
Well,
again.
more so, is it Fogarty?
He's got to start again,
And
doesn't
you've
he?
got to earn your spot. I think that's the way it should be there. And I think Tex earns his spot right now, but you've got to keep it. And we watched Gary Ablett today. Gaz is going to he's going to be there in round 1, but he won't be automatic from now on. They'll be saying, right, it's Gaz earned it. Yep, he is good, but there'll be a conversation at some stage.
It can be an exciting time, though, for Adelaide. Look at the names gone out. Greenwood, Jacobs, Alciaman, Jenkins, Keith. Douglas retired. A bit of a changing of the guard. To see some younger talent come through, they probably haven't had a lot of young talent come through in the last few years.
You're impressed by the Suns. You're impressed by the Dockers.
I was indeed, and I like to see a new coach come into an organisation and us be able to sit on the other side of the country and watch them play and go, oh, yeah, that's what they've been doing for 6 months. And the way they played, there's a high possession, high kick mark game. I love Griffin Logue at full-back,
Oh, he was
fulfilling
awful.
his potential. And they just look to be on the same page. Now, how far that's going to take them, I'm not exactly sure. They need everyone up and going, but Brayshaw's played, he's getting better, Tucker played. Aish might be a handy little pickup that adds a little bit of depth into the side, but I'm more impressed with the way they went about it than anyone individual. So I'll be interested. I haven't seen a lot of Freo live over the journey because of the way the system works. I'll be interested in what they're able to do.
I mentioned the Suns before, Jared, and we're not expecting them to play finals this year, but you definitely want to see some improvement. And no excuse for the players out there. I went up there and watched them train over the summer. Their training facilities are as good as what there would be in the competition. It's a far cry from when they started as portables. So the Gold Coast should be a good place to play football. They've got a lot of young talent there. The challenge will be, can they retain them in 2 or 3 years' time when these young talent come out? But you'll see a fair bit of Noah Anderson, that man, and obviously Matty Rowell during the season. So it's exciting times for the Gold Coast Suns. They're playing an exciting brand of footy during the pre-season.
Okay, don't worry about it in 3 years' time. We've got to talk about the now because they've all re-signed, which is absolutely fantastic. What are you seeing other than individual talent? We're all looking at it going, geez, Lukosius and King, and we haven't seen Rankin yet.
Yeah.
What are you seeing as a group?
Well, they've definitely improved their ball movement, no doubt about that. The biggest thing that hurt them last year is they had a horrendous run of injuries. They're probably the worst injury list in the competition, so they need a bit of a luck there. The young talent coming together, I think Stuart Dew's done a good job of getting them playing the right way. And to bring Brandon Ellis in especially, who's come from a premiership culture, I think has been a big influence on the group.
All right, Robbo's Carlton mates are feeling a level of unrest you shouldn't be feeling in the pre-season. Do they have cause for concern?
Well, it was a bit concerning the second half yesterday, wasn't it?
Oh, it's very
they
concerning.
looked sensational in the first quarter, albeit Brisbane were a bit flat. I'm a little bit worried about Carlton. I think internally they say, oh, no, we've got no expectation on it. They know they've got some expectation on it simply because of the way they finished last year. The second half of the year was strong. That was the honeymoon period where David Teague is in charge. Now it's normal for Teague to be in charge. So, yeah, the talent. Where's the leadership across the board? Patrick Cripps, he's obviously been a fantastic leader. Sam Doherty's back now, but you know, where else is the leadership? We know Mark Murphy's been there in the past, but when things go wrong, can they pull things back?
I think their forward tools sum up Carlton. You throw them on the paper and you go, well, this looks all right. Mackay and McGovern and Casbolt and Charlie Curnow, gee, this is the making, and we build and build, but we're still no closer to working out how good they are.
Well, Curnow's not going to be there.
Charlie's probably the separate, but, you know, good on Casbolt for reinventing himself in the back half. Can he go now forward? And you know, is McGovern going to be fit enough? Can he play as that hard-working up and back? And where's Mackay? He has shown a bit. So all of that looks good, and you go, they're on the move. They're on the move. But they haven't moved yet.
Yep.
So
It is only pre-season.
Yeah.
We've got to keep saying that, but it was really disappointing yesterday. It was really disappointing after.
Where would you expect Carlton to be this year?
After yesterday? Oh, no, but at the start of the year,
coming into the pre-season.
bottom 5. I don't think they're going to be good enough to go all the way to a 12-win season. I think they won 7 last year. I didn't see another 5 in them. I don't know if anyone else can see another 5 in them
No, I
to
don't
get
think
to
they're a
12.
finals team.
Not
And
yet.
the team's nothing to see here. West Coast struck me as a nothing to see here team. Were you okay with West Coast?
100%. I think Giants were the most impressive.
Yeah,
if you want to
they
put
were.
a line, and you add, you know, the half-fit Whitfield and the half-fit Davis and Canelio and Green and the kid Ash is going to be a beauty to a grand final side.
Green.
So they're the most impressive.
I think they're still the 2 best sides in it for me. Yesterday was. There was one highlight out of the pre-season was the game yesterday. GWS and Richmond was actually
Who were the
exciting
two-
game of
who were
footy.
the two
It was
best
good to
sides?
watch. GWS and Richmond, I think, are still the best sides in the competition. And GWS got so much talent, and they still did it with injuries last year. They were out in the grand final. Richmond's obviously a class above, and how exciting was it to see
You had to go have West Coast in there. Stay the 3 of them.
No, I'm going to say
Say
2
the
of them.
3 of them.
I'm going to say 2 of them because I've got an
scared to
opinion
say the
and
3.
you've got an opinion. And your opinion is West Coast, you like them. I'm going to go with GWS and Richmond. How good
said
was it to see
Fremantle were better than West Coast last year.
the 2 most influential players in the game, I think, Toby Green and Dustin Martin in action yesterday. How exciting were they?
Don't stop talking. What about Stephen Canelio?
He was good down forward.